We're back with Mark Padgett. We talked a little bit about business at the top, but your campaign tripped up a bit in March when it was announced that you failed to pay some renewals of your business license, and you admitted that that was a mistake. Where does that land as far as something that impacted you as a candidate?
I don't think it really had a big impact. A lot of our support's coming from moderate families and people that agree with the business mindset, the business-minded people. And if you were to poll 100 different businesses and ask them if they had missed a deadline, I mean, there was no penalty, so to say, for that. The harsh penalty was a few dollars in penalty and interest. And I've learned a lot of lessons in business. I started my business from a couch, from a TV tray and a borrowed laptop. I promise you, there's been a lot of lessons that I've learned there, John, and each one of them's made me a better person, a stronger person, and hopefully a wiser person.
But you did pay the taxes. I think it was about $1,000 to the city and the county, and about $116 or so in other penalties. Is that right?
I think it was about $100 in penalties.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about your campaign, and we talked about issues. How much money have you raised to date? And I know there's another disclosure at the end, but what has been disclosed thus far? Do you anticipate continuing at sort of that pace? I think when the first disclosure, you surprised a lot of people. It's when Marilyn Roddy was still in the race. We'd all kind of known what she was raising, and you came out with right at $100,000, as I recall, which I think was kind of gave you some credibility there. Are you continuing to raise at that pace? And are you getting support? Are you seeing some support now from Republicans, which I find interesting? That's sort of the rumors on the street that you've had some folks from my party come around supporting you because you are viewed as the business candidate.
Well, we've raised a little over $90,000 this period alone, and that puts us at about $215,000 or $220,000 maybe overall. But what's more important than that is really the reception we're getting when we're knocking on doors, when we're visiting with neighborhood groups, with small business owners, making phone calls. We're seeing that my vision for Knoxville, and I think it's a part of the reason that we're raising money, is because my vision for Knoxville just lines up with where so many people's vision of Knoxville is.
And the Republican support, are you getting some of that?
We are. I think we're getting support north and south, east and west, Democrat and Republican. People know. When I knock on a door, and sometimes I'll get asked, Susan, they'll say, well, are you a Democrat or a Republican? And I say, well, this is a nonpartisan race. And 8 out of 10, if not 9 out of 10 times, people say, good. And they go on. And I think that's indicative of how, in general we're feeling, maybe here in Knoxville, in this state, but we're getting support, yes, from Republicans, from business owners, but from community leaders as well, from all different walks in Knoxville.
Former City Councilor Joe Holtquist was kind of a late entry into the race. How do you think that'll affect the field? Does that is he likely to draw from Madeline Rogero, or do you think it will have any effect?
You can hear anything you want to. I don't think he draws from any of the people that we're talking to, any of our base. It doesn't seem like it. You hear some from Madeline, you hear some from Ivan. I don't know. Is the truth, Jack. No one can know where that happens, but I'm always happy to see somebody else get in the race. Joe's going to come in and have issues that he's wanting to push and talk about those, and I think it'll make the discussion more lively and open it up. Anytime you can have debate in public, you're going to have a better outcome.
What about, we asked one of the other candidates about consolidation of city and county government. What are your thoughts? A lot of what your business is finding some efficiencies in government. What do you think of that idea of consolidating more of the city and county?
Well, let's push aside the political part of this and just talk about the side that taxpayers really care about, making sure we don't have redundant processes, that we're not wasting money. And you can expect this from me. I take office about January the 1st, and property taxes would come out sometime in October the 1st usually. And today, if you live in the city, you get an envelope from the city of Knoxville with your property taxes in it, and you get an envelope from the county with your county property taxes in it. You can expect that on year 1 to come in the same envelope, and that's not a big change, but the next few years, you can expect this, that we're going to merge those offices to make sure that we're not wasting taxpayer money. It only makes sense that if you come into the city-county building, that you go to one office to do that. We're going to look at business tax, property tax, purchasing, IT, wherever we can work with Mayor Burchett to provide more efficiencies, because after all, we're serving the same group of people, and we need to be doing that.
We have a new police chief who was appointed by Mayor Brown, who's serving in the interim here. How do you feel about that? You're inheriting a new police chief. Is that an appointment that you would have preferred to make if you were elected?
Well, I said at the time that I thought Mayor Brown had the right to appoint whoever he wanted to, but I've really grown to like Chief Roush and think he does just a great job. But I think the fair way to do this and how we'll do it is each individual appointment or director would submit a resume and go back through it, not because anybody's in jeopardy. I think we need the best possible people, Jack. I mean, that's the most important thing we can do, is have the best possible people as our directors, really leading the way. And so I would ask everyone to resubmit a resume to let me get a chance to know them and what they do, and we'll make decisions from there.
Mark Padgett, who wants to be the next Knoxville mayor, we appreciate you joining us, and we hope it's not the last time.
It won't be.
Good to have you, and we'll be back with our discussion right after this.
A beautiful steering wheel is great, but only if the dash it's attached to is equally beautiful. So we made sure it was. But we couldn't stop there, so we kept going. And before we knew it, we had a 2011 Jeep Grand Cherokee.
Now, lease the 2011 Grand Cherokee Laredo 4x2 for $329 a month for well-qualified lessees.
Throughout the duration of this severe weather event, keep you updated. There is the potential for damaging winds, isolated tornadoes, heavy rainfall. It's moving toward Farragut, also Rockford, Louisville, South Knox County. Several reports of funnel clouds in the area.
Be safe and take cover.
Just go to a safe place for a few minutes.
The storms are moving so fast, you don't have a lot of time.
Watch us on TV, watch us online, and we'll keep you up to date through the rest of the afternoon.
And we're back with our talk around on Inside Tennessee. Jack, what did you make of our discussion?
Well, clearly he is positioning himself as the candidate for business, and I think that's a wise spot for him to put himself in. I think, as was mentioned last week, that's probably Madeline Rojero's weak spot. I think the shortfall he has in that regard was that his experience is on the Democratic side of the ticket, and if he had more ties on the Republican side, he probably would be able to draw a little bit of additional support from the business standpoint.
You made the point, though, Susan, that he seems to be drawing some more and more of that support.
I think he is getting support from Republican businesses, business leaders, and because they have looked at the field and really decided that, Mark is the one who has created business. I like his energy. 33 doesn't bother me at all. I was working.
33 doesn't bother me. That may be.
I'd like to be 33 again. But I was working for Governor Alexander at that, and we were all that age, and the governor was 38. I love young, fresh ideas coming into a city.
You also worked for Andrew Jackson, but we
that was you, dear.
I think that I agree with Susan. I think it's great that Knoxville is producing homegrown talent with all of these credentials, and I don't want to discount the fact that the city of Knoxville has predominantly voted Democratic and historically, and I think that his base with his grandfather and his dad is going to keep that support, and it'll be interesting to see. This will be a great race.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week right here on Inside Tennessee.